Good morning. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to our coffee talk and just the opportunity just to come and hang out with us and get to know us and just to hear some of the things that are happening here at Lakeview this week. And we're glad you've joined us. And as always, we have our group of pastors here that we just hang out and chat with and enjoy some coffee. Coffee.
You got coffee
Sometimes
still?
tea, and that's okay. So grab a coffee and join us. And quite often we start with a segment called What's New With You? So what's new with you?
Lots, too much. No. Okay, so there's so many. On one sense, nothing, but on one sense, I did spend all weekend in class, and we've just been talking about some of the stuff that was coming out in our, my intergenerational ministry class, how to be pulling together as one in unity, which also then, interestingly enough, ties into, being that I'm preaching on Sunday a passage on Ephesians unity. There's that theme, but then also, but I think, okay, here's where I want to land on, because my brain's like, no, there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this. In my ethics class yesterday, our prof was talking about kind of addressing the what does it mean, what is the kingdom of God all about? And so this is kind of the thing I thought was really cool in my last kind of 48 hours of kind of thinking, studying life. He described the kingdom of God in that, how do we always talk about it as a now and not yet thing. Mm-hmm. And one way to look at that is he talks about it like music. And how the kingdom is here and now all around us. We're just not always aware of it. And it's a lot like tuning your ears. There's so much noise going on in the world that you don't hear that thing you're trying to hear.
Yeah.
And if you've ever driven in a car with kids, right? There's so much other stuff going on, and you just want to hear the traffic report so okay, I got to take that bridge versus, or I'm trying to get from here to there, and I want to avoid this, right? And you're trying to listen to that one thing, or you've got the GPS going, giving you directions, and you're totally lost, and it's like there's this issue and this issue and that issue, and there's only ever 3 issues at a time, because it's only 3 kids, but it's you can't hear the one thing you want to hear, so you either have to turn up the thing you're trying to listen to, or you have to turn down everything else. And the kingdom is what the kingdom is. In some ways we don't turn it up, we have to learn how to turn down everything else, and tune our ears to hear. Yeah. And so, which I think actually is Jesus' line, is it not? Right? Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear.
Yeah.
It's so when we're talking about that kingdom as this is one sense of it. There's a lot of different ways of looking at it, and it means more than just this. Yeah. But it's a present reality that began when Jesus came in the flesh. That's what he brought, and then we just need to become more aware of how it's active and advancing in our day. And so a lot of that is just tuning our ears to hear, or our eyes to see is another way of looking at it.
Ears to hear. He couples those quite often.
It's about adjusting our awareness of it. And so
we do have to confess the amount of times that, if you want to pull out a map or something like that, the amount of times that you reach over to turn the radio down and realize the radio is off. There's just noise coming this way, but it's a natural tendency to quiet, I have to concentrate. And I always turn the radio off even though it's not even on and there's stuff happening behind me.
Part of me would love a limousine, and Sheena and I can be up front and we just roll up that privacy window. I just think that would be such a money idea. That would be
but I have to confess, I think that's more of a male thing. I think that's just I'm in my driving box right now, and there's too many other things. I can't multitask on that.
Well, no, because when you're trying to size up gaps for passing and which lane is moving quicker, you need that focus of an F1 driver. You don't want, Dad, I dropped my pencil, right? Or I can't reach my blanket, right? You don't want that. You want to know, can I get around him? Or so that's it. That's you're watching your fuel levels. You're thinking about when do we have to pit. It's all of that stuff goes into a road trip, and you gotta focus.
Isn't it funny though? Even as I listen to you, what's most important is probably your kid dropping his pencil and needing to be heard, right?
Yeah.
And yet, us, like
Yeah.
like you said,
Turn it
as
down, turn it
guys,
down.
we're like, this is it right now, you know.
Yeah.
No, what's most important is I get to the ferry on time.
I know.
That's what's number one here, is not missing my ferry.
I'm talking. Yeah, I get it.
Without any stops.
That's what I feel like. But when you zoom out, the big picture is this kid needs his dad. You know,
Yeah.
like, and that's the kingdom of God, right? Like, where you get focused on the wrong thing, and yeah.
Okay, Jeff.
Well, it's not a
Zoom
bad
out.
thing. It's just a lesser thing.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just clear
No,
this.
I'm
It's a
sorry.
lesser
Yeah, I
thing,
don't mean
not-
to minimize that. I just
no.
hearing a bit bigger metaphor to
Yeah.
talk about. But yeah,
Jeff, what's new with you?
you want to get off this?
No, I want to hear.
You know, so there, I was trying to think of what's new with me, and I was like, I got to get out more because there's not a whole lot new with me. Because what's new with me is we have diapers in the house again, and it's not any human. It's our little dog is peeing everywhere, so we had to get diaper for the dog.
Yeah.
But that
Wait,
was,
is he listening to this right now?
you know, I'm sorry, Sonny, if you were listening. I still, well, he knows that I'm not as appreciative of him as the rest of the family is. But yeah, we love you, Sonny. So that's just the funny part. The thing that really is new that I'm enjoying is I'm really enjoying this Seek God for the City. You know, we talked about prayer last week here. A couple weeks before that, we talked about it, and we talked about it on Sunday. And this has really been helping my prayer life. I've been praying through these prayers, and it's helped the perspective again, right?
Yeah.
It's helped me realize that my prayer life has been focused around very, very narrow lens, and this is broadening that lens to pray for a wider range of topics, themes, people. It's just been really, really good for my prayer life to add to it. So yeah, that's been really good.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have the similar
Do you know,
experience,
I have a twofer, and that's one of mine as well
Yeah.
too. And one of the lines that came out this week on Monday was just that, you know, I very quickly come to the excuses that I have with not praying, that I often boil it down to I don't have enough time. But actually, more than anything, I probably lack focus and clarity and discipline to do it more than anything, right? So the self-discipline that's being challenged in me by that is really good, and it's enjoyable. And like we said, even a couple weeks ago, I've kind of taken my daily reading and kind of put it to the side so that this could be more time. And so that's the first thing. Second thing is I'm learning guitar. I don't know.
no.
We always suspected, Kevin.
Well, you know, like many worship leaders
Yeah.
who kind of get into that zone of like, okay, these are the three chords that I need.
Right.
And quite often it's G, C, D.
Yes.
Right? And so not only just trying to get out of that, but even just being challenged, do I know the notes on the whole neck? Even very least from 1 to 12, the whole octave. And so
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of finger practicing, and like I'm really enjoying it. And before this, like I've taken guitar lessons and I've done a lot of these exercises and stuff before. It's really exciting me these days just to
Yeah.
and I know what notes I'm playing.
That's great.
So
That is cool.
And thank you for confessing that worship songs you only need 3 chords for, because we've always suspected.
Yeah.
yeah. That
that's
makes a
good.
good, 4-chord pop song. And
That's right.
sometimes all you need is a 4-chord pop song.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a little bit of jazz, something very different. You have no idea where it's going, and chords you've never even heard of, and
Yeah.
flat ninths, diminished sevenths, and
You just took the wind out of my sails, though. I thought I knew a little bit of guitar, and for you to say you're still learning guitar, how far do I have to go? But I'm just joking with you. I know that I don't put it nearly enough time into it. It's cool to hear that you can keep learning and growing.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of musicians that I think are great say, "Oh, I'm only a beginner," and so I know that concept. But Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you're.
So that's us. That's, you know, our what's happening with us. What's happening in Lakeview this week?
Yeah.
I mean, we're continuing to seek God for the city from now until Easter. We started, you know, February 17th, and we're
Technically, it's just Palm Sunday, right?
oh, Palm Sunday. Yes, that's right.
It
Sorry,
it does wrap up
said
at Palm
Easter.
Sunday,
right.
Which I mean is practically Easter, right? It's but they sort of say no, you got enough other Easter stuff going on. We're just gonna. It does wrap up on Palm Sunday,
Like
and,
how it says Palm Sunday.
It says
on the
Palm
front.
Sunday. Yeah, you're right.
You know, and I have to confess, like I thought it was always right till Easter,
Easter.
and then every year I'm like, no, it's only Palm
Easter
Sunday.
and Palm
Okay.
Sunday are the same thing, pretty much.
that whole
when you're
week-
sitting in February, it's somewhere
That whole
up there.
week can be a blur too,
I think-
especially if you're
Yeah, that's-
meeting other Easter things going on. But
I think I'm going to recycle this though. Like after 40 days, I'm going to
sure.
go through it again. I mean, it's pretty cool,
I
right?
thought you meant like throw it in the
No,
recycle.
sorry.
I'm like, yeah, it's paper.
Reuse is the word. Reuse, recycle.
I thought you were
that's
just trying to be
yeah.
a good steward with the
No,
paper
no.
that God has given you.
Sorry, wrong word. Reuse.
Yes,
Sorry, keep
it's
Yeah.
sure. I mean, hey, you can 40 days to Christmas again, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
so
some random 40 days to September 1st. Okay, here we
Yeah.
go.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else is happening in Lakeview?
Well, a couple things. I mean, Sunday is another one of our Lakeview Kids Live. And so if you've got kids in our kids ministry and want to join in on a Zoom call, that's going to be 9 a.m. We did it 2 weeks ago, just switching up the format a little bit because we'll jump on the Zoom call together. We'll hang out for a few minutes. Then we'll watch the kids ministry video together and then we can talk about it, right? Because the first couple times we did this, it was more of like a 20-minute, just sort of wedge it in there kind of thing, hoping that some kids would have watched the lesson first, and that's just, I think we'll all be on the same page if we just watch together. So kind of thought we'll just do that. So link will go out with the email, and if you want it sooner, you can contact me directly too. But the link will be included with the bulletin on Friday if you want that and want to join us. 9 a.m. for kids in our kids ministry, a chance to hang out, play a little game together, chat about the lesson, and sort of like a virtual online Sunday school class is kind of what we're going for. Yeah. So love to have kids be part of that.
And with that, like, so you even mentioned the Friday email. So if you're connecting with Coffee Talk, but you're still not necessarily getting the email,
Yeah.
let us know. There's a few people who have said, hey, I'm not getting the email. So
Yes.
we need to be aware of that, because that's actually a lot of our information stream. A lot of times you would just go to a website, but there's stuff that's public and there's stuff that's not public as well too. So we kind of have that differentiation. So if you're not getting those emails, please let us know right away, because there's a lot of good information with that. Sunday morning we're meeting back in here, and we're not meeting back in here. We're not meeting back in
We're
here.
recording here.
We are streaming from here. Sunday afternoon there is a celebration of life for Lorena Saunders. You would have gotten the email link or the YouTube link last week, and that's going to go out again this week. So it's Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific, streaming live from here.
Yeah. Yeah, and on that line of communication, we have that email address, info@lakeviewheightsbaptist.com.
That's what we used to send emails.
That's so it's,
Sorry.
it's-
You're thinking of the new one, talk@LakevviewHeightsBaptist.com. And
So info is, if you want more information, talk@lakeviewheightsbaptist.com
Yeah.
is the one we set up. So that is working. I've got a couple people told me that that you're doing Seek God for the City at that email, and then a couple people responded to Ephesians on Sunday. I asked, please send us any questions you might have about Ephesians, comments you have about Ephesians so far. Love to hear your comments. So a couple people wrote, and I really appreciate that. Please, keep sending it. If you have questions you want us to discuss here on Coffee Talk, like all those kind of things, talk@lakeviewheightsbaptist.com. We just want to continue to have you send in any thoughts there as well.
really, and we will discuss really important things like what color parrot is the best kind of parrot that you could own. Those are really important questions. So if you want to send those in to us.
I didn't realize stuffed is a color. Like I don't want to offend parrot owners, but there is something about having a bird in your house that's just a little weird to me.
I
But
think
that's
what
another
he's getting
story.
at is you will probably send us questions that would be more relevant to what you want to hear.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So you're trying to say nothing is too trivial.
No,
And I'm like, just weirded out by, I mean, my son brings home crackers the other day, because we went to dinner last week one night for Swiss Chalet, and he got the soup, and he kept his little pack of crackers that came with it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to keep these in case we ever, to give to someone who has a parrot. That's what he said.
Okay.
Or in case we ever have a parrot. And I thought, those are going to be some old crackers before we ever. You know,
See,
if you ever
I thought
find
he
out.
was still kind of in that Bear Grylls mindset, like that. If between here and home, we completely, lose the van or something like that, and we're in the wilderness,
In the 2-minute drive, yeah.
this crackers will
Yeah.
actually keep us alive. So maybe, I don't know.
Sure.
I like that he was keeping them to give them away. I thought that's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have a house full of junk. It's great. It's awesome. Anyways,
But yeah, it's been good hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
hanging out. Keep going with Seek God for the City, and we'll see you Sunday morning on Kids Church,
Lakeview Kids Live.
Lakeview Kids Live. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sunday morning service, and then at the Celebration of Life service in the afternoon, and we'll see you around.